Like the recording has started.
Well, welcome everyone. This is the April 1st, 2021 brief enforcement hearing of the Public Disclosure Commission. I am Fred Jarrett, the chair of the commission, and with us today is Nancy Isserlis and our staff, Jennifer.
Yes, Jennifer Hansen, compliance officer.
Tabitha Blacksmith, compliance coordinator.
Tabitha Townsend, compliance coordinator.
Cool. We shall proceed, and the first item on our agenda is a F1 violation, missing F1 report. I guess I'm supposed to mention that the authority for this hearing is the RCW 4217A 700. So Tabitha, do you want to, Tabitha Blacksmith, do you want to proceed?
Yes, please. I'll be presenting the first two cases, and I need to be sworn in, and then I'm ready to proceed.
And
All right.
Mr. Chair, would you like to swear all staff in, the three of us that are presenting today all at the same time?
Let's do that. Hold one second here. In accordance with court rules and Washington state laws against perjury, do you state your name, swear, or affirm that your testimony that you will be giving today is the truth?
I, Tabitha Blacksmith, swear.
I, Tabitha Townsend, swear.
I, Jennifer Hansen, swear.
Perfect. Tabitha Blacksmith, you're up.
Thank you, Chair Jarrett. This first case is PDC case number 80241 against Jose Alegio Jimenez. Mr. Jimenez was a city council member for City of Toppenish in 2019. The PDC staff is alleging that Mr. Jimenez violated RCW 4217A 700 by failing to timely file the Personal Financial Affairs Statement, or F1 report, which was due to be filed with the PDC no later than April 15th, 2020, disclosing financial activities for calendar year 2019. Mr. Jimenez did file the missing F1 report that is the subject of this case on March 30th, 2021. Mr. Jimenez does have one prior violation, which is PDC case number 10056, for which he has filed the F1 report, and he recently paid the outstanding $500 penalty. He did provide me with a copy of his credit card receipt showing he paid that on March 19th, and it was processed by the credit card company on March 22nd. PDC staff, I'm sorry, Mr. Jimenez is participating in the hearing today by telephone, and PDC staff is recommending that you find a violation of RCW 4217A 700 against Mr. Jimenez for failing to timely file the F1 report and assess an appropriate penalty in accordance with Washington Administrative Code 390-37143 for a filer with one prior violation who filed the F1 report by the date of the hearing. According to the penalty schedule, the range for that violation, if found, would be between $150 and $300. And I'm available for questions.
Okay, the agenda that I have here has a penalty schedule that says 500.
That would have been if Mr. Jimenez had not filed the report. He filed the report between, since you received that earlier information, he has filed. And he paid
Perfect.
the prior penalty, so that changed things a little bit as well.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So Mr. Jimenez is on the phone. Do you have any comment that you would like to make?
And Mr. Chair Jarrett, make sure that you remember to
Yes,
swear.
I was.
Thank you.
I was muting myself, so.
Good. So I need to ask you to swear that you are telling the truth. And so I will ask you, hold on here. In accordance with court rules and Washington State's laws against perjury, do you, Mr. Jimenez, swear or affirm that your testimony you will be giving today is the truth?
I, Jose Alegio Jimenez, swear
Thank you.
that I will be telling the truth.
Proceed.
Okay, so just recently, well, in the month of March, I received an email from our city manager's secretary stating that the PDC was attempting to get a hold of me and trying to make contact with me. So immediately after that email that I received on my work email, I immediately contacted Tabitha Blacksmith, and what she reported is the truth. So at that point, I began working on what I needed to do. The reason I did not file is because when I left in December of 2019 as a city councilman, I thought I was clear and free and did not look back. I actually stopped using my own personal email because members from the community were reaching out to me, asking me questions about city council and things like that. So I just simply stopped and did not use it. I have not used my email. Apparently, emails were sent from PDC to my personal email requesting that I needed to do my reporting. But again, I was simply unaware until the email from our city manager's secretary, which I reached out, which now I have done what I needed to do up to this point.
Well, thank you very much. I understand the explanation. As a former elected official, I can tell you that you never completely get lost. There's always something that hangs on. So thank you very much. Any questions, Nancy, or from the staff? Tabitha, again, what was the recommendation on the penalty that you mentioned?
Yes, Chair Jarrett, for a second occasion of failure to timely file the F1, the range is $150 to $300 for someone who participates and filed the report before the date of the hearing. Are you interested in my personal recommendation or just the range?
What would be your recommendation?
Well, when Mr. Jimenez was contacted by the people in his jurisdiction, he did immediately reach out and filed the report immediately. He paid the prior penalty right away. He wanted to sign a statement of understanding, but he had missed the deadline for that and was unable to resolve this with a statement of understanding, which would have been $100. So I'm inclined, based on those mitigating factors, to recommend $150, or perhaps if you wanted to do some sort of suspension, I don't know. That would be my recommendation, is $150.
Well, I will find that the respondent, Mr. Jimenez, is in violation of RCW 17A 700, and assess a penalty in the amount of $150 with $50 suspended, and conditioned on the respondent being in compliance with 47A and WAC 390 and having no further violations of 47A, 4217A or WAC 390 for 5 years from the date the order is issued, and that payment by the respondent of the non-suspended portion within 30 days of the issuance of the order.
Okay, and just to confirm, the no more violations is 5 years instead of 4?
Is 4 what we're doing normally now?
Normally.
Okay, my little flag here says 5, so 4 is it.
The statute of limitations is 5 years.
Let's do 4.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then Mr. Jimenez, you will receive information via email and through the mail as well with this order from Tabitha Blacksmith when it's done. And it's usually done within a couple of weeks that's the average. So, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact Tabitha Blacksmith with those questions.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank
Excellent.
you.
You're welcome. And you're welcome to hang on if you'd like, or you can go ahead and disconnect. Thank you for participating.
You guys.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, it sounds like you were not able to get the updated group enforcement case list that I sent to you at the end of the day yesterday. And so
I have not got it yet, but I'm looking for it right now.
okay, the only other changes that we made besides Mr. Jimenez filing therefore his penalty change, recommended penalty, is we took Gerald George off the list entirely. He was one of the 3 F1 filers. We had some service issues, so the only other F1 filer that's on here is the second one that Tabitha Blacksmith will be presenting, the Shaney Frame Crosby. And
Okay.
there is no one else participating at this moment, so.
Perfect. I just found it here, so. Okay, so that means that the next item is Shaney Crosby.
Yes, Shaney Frame Crosby. Would you like me to
Yes,
proceed?
proceed.
Yeah. Thank you. So the next case is PDC case number 83202 for Shaney Frame Crosby. Shaney Frame Crosby was a city council member for the city of Aberdeen for about 3.5 months of 2020. Staff is alleging that the respondent violated RCW 4217A 700 by failing to file the personal financial affairs statement or F1 report that was due to be filed with the PDC no later than April 15th of 2020, disclosing financial activities for calendar year 2019. Ms. Frame Crosby has not filed the missing F1 report by the date of today's hearing. She has no prior violations with the PDC. She is not participating in the hearing today. And I've had no communication with the respondent. I will say that we attempted to notice Ms. Crosby back in January for a hearing, but had some service issues. So through research, I learned that she has moved out of state, that is why she left office early, and she's moved out of state. She's actually in California. And I found a new address and a new email. So we re-noticed her, and neither the email nor the mail has come back yet. So there is an assumption that she has been served, but I wanted to let you know about those previous service issues. And as staff is recommending that you find a violation of RCW 4217A 700 against Janie Frame Crosby for failure to file the F1 report and assess an appropriate penalty in accordance with WAC 390-37143 for a filer with no prior violations who did not file the F1 report by the date of the hearing. And on the penalty schedule, that amount is $250. And I'm available for any questions.
Okay, do you see any circumstances which would mitigate against the full penalty?
Well, she's no longer in office. The jurisdiction hasn't been able to reach her either. And she only served about 3.5 months out of the year. Those may perhaps be considered mitigating factors. Inclined to go with whatever you decide, but we haven't been able to connect with Ms. Crosby. Or at least she hasn't communicated with me, I should say.
Okay. Any thoughts, Nancy? Hearing none, I find the respondent in violation of RCW 4217A 700 and assess a penalty in the amount of $250, which is due within 30 days of the date the order is issued.
Chair Jarrett, is the report also part of the order and due within 30 days? The missing report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Chair Jarrett, one thing for the record that I was able to find out from the internet is that she resigned from the council because of her husband's employment issues, and they have relocated out of state, which may account for the inability to communicate with her.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Okay. Anything else on Ms. Crosby?
No, Chair Jarrett. Thank you.
All right.
Chair Jarrett, I apologize. We're running about 4 minutes, maybe 3.5, 4 minutes early. We noticed that the lobbyist for a start time of 1:25, and it is currently 1:21, 1:22 now. We didn't have anyone that told us that they were participating, but did you want to wait until the 1:25 timeframe that we noticed? That's the timeframe we gave people in the hearing notices that we sent.
Why don't we do that just for the sake of being on time?
Okay. We can either leave the recording going and just sit. We can, if there's other matters that you would like to discuss, we can continue the recording. The modification, I don't believe anyone's participating either, although I did send a hearing notice to that person as well for a 2:30 start time, so.
Well, we just have 2 minutes left until 1:25, so let's proceed to just stay recording and a little bit of a soft chew and song and dance, you know, just to keep people excited.
Exactly. And it looks like we have someone else that joined us. Could you identify yourself for the rest of the group, please? The person from the 253 area code?
Yes, sure. This is Chelsea Mason. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chelsea Mason is, I believe, the first person on the list for the.
No,
No, I'm sorry. She is not.
she's not on our agenda. She was removed from the agenda
Oh, okay.
as her case was closed.
Yeah, closed administratively.
So you are welcome to stay on the line if you would like and listen to the rest of the hearing. It sounds like we will not be discussing any of your case today, except when we get to the point of discussing that it was closed administratively. So there won't be any information brought forward for any kind of an assessment of a penalty or a violation. It was closed administratively before this hearing.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, thank you so much. I think I'll slip off then, and good luck with the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
So there's quite a few of them that were closed administratively. Why don't you talk briefly about what we did there?
Yes, of course, Chair Jarrett. There's also a 503 number that has joined.
Oh,
Can
good.
you identify yourself?
If you could just say your name, please, from the 503 area code.
Yeah, it's Jeff Bissonette.
I can see that you're unmuted, but we cannot hear you.
Jeff Bissonette.
Oh, excellent. Jeff Bissonette, he is one of the respondents on your list today, Chair Jarrett.
Yes.
Perfect. And we can move him up
Why don't we
on the
why don't we
agenda.
move him up till now and proceed with that matter?
Okay. Would you like me to do my overview and the introduction to the
Yes, please.
matter? Okay. Thank you, Chair Jarrett. This is Tabitha Townsend, and I'll be presenting the lobbyist L2 cases. As a brief overview, per RCW 4217A615, all registered lobbyists are required to file monthly reports that are due on the 15th of each month, reporting the activities of the prior month. The customer service team does send out monthly reminders to all registered lobbyists, as well as notifications to individuals who have saved but not submitted their monthly reports. So some people are getting multiple notifications per month. And then on February 8th, the compliance team sent out warning letters to those individuals who were missing L2 reports for any portion of or all of the year of 2020. On March 8th, the compliance team noticed the remaining lobbyists that were missing L2 reports for the hearing for today. That was a total of 23 cases, and 19 of those were closed administratively, as you see. And with the hearing notices, we were unable to send the statement of understandings as we do with the F1 and C1 notices due to some penalty schedule matters. With the F1 and C1 notices, we assess on a statement of understanding $100 per report. If we did that with the L2s, some of them would not qualify for the brief adjudicative proceedings, as they were missing 12 reports, which would put them at $1,200. The maximum penalty for a brief adjudicative proceeding is $1,000. So we wanted to bring this forward and set a possible standard on how you, Chair Jarrett, would like to proceed in the future with the penalty schedule and how to assess that. And I am available for questions on that before we get started, or we can start with Mr. Bissonette.
Well, let's listen to Mr. Bissonette talk about his perspective on this. Mr. Bissonette, in accordance with court rules and Washington state laws against perjury, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you will be giving today is the truth?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I do.
Perfect. Proceed.
Chair Jarrett, would you like Tabitha to read his case number and things into the record first?
Oh, I missed that she hadn't done that. Tabitha, would you read in the case number?
Not a problem, Chair Jarrett. This is case number 86676 against Jeff Bissonette. Mr. Bissonette had 12 L2 reports missing for the calendar year of 2020. As of today, Mr. Bissonette has contacted and is having difficulties filing the reports, and I have set up to assist him after the hearing. But prior to, these reports have not been electronically submitted and are not available to the public.
Okay. Mr. Bissonette, you're on.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Jeff, for the record, Jeff Bissonette. And, I will sort of say that it was just an oversight on my part. I basically stopped lobbying for or representing the client that I had been lobbying in mid-March or so, and then the email that I was using, was discontinued, and so it just went off my list of things to do. So nothing more than that. I ended up actually not billing the client for that first quarter, so I wasn't paid for that, and had some de minimis unreimbursed expenses that I'm happy to report, and am prepared to do that electronically once I get access to the system. But that's the extent of my statement. I offer apologies. There's no intent to escape not filing. I believe strongly in public disclosure, and I would be happy to provide that information.
Okay. Any questions, Nancy? I have no questions. I find that the respondent is in violation of RCW 4217A 615, and I assess a penalty of $1,000 with $500 suspended, conditioned on the respondent being in compliance with RCW 17A and WAC 390, and the respondent having no further violations of RCW 17A or 4217A or WAC 390 for 4 years from the date of the order, and that the payment of the non-suspended portion of the fine is paid within 30 days of the date that the order is issued.
And Chair Jarrett, would you like to include that we resolve the filing of the reports within that 30 days as well, just in the order?
I thought that was in the first bullet, being in compliance.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
But yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds like it
And
might be nice to be done by close of business today.
It more than likely will. Mr. Bissonette, I will contact you as soon as we're done here to help you get set up.
At your convenience.
And Mr. Bissonette, you are welcome to stay on if you'd like to hear the other cases, or you're welcome to hang up and then wait for that contact from Ms. Townsend.
Thank you.
So to go back, Tabitha, to the question that you asked about the fine, I guess my bias is let's keep it at $1,000 so that we can do these things efficiently, unless there is an egregious violation, in which case I think we need to go to the full commission and expand the ability to have a higher fine.
Okay, so we would do 0 to 150 up to $1,000
Yeah, that would
per
be my
report.
that would be my approach. And you know, again, if in the case of Mr. Bissonette, for example, where he's coming forward and is closing the, you know, coming in compliance, you know, let's make that easier to do rather than harder.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you. And did you want me to proceed with the other three?
Yes, please do.
Okay. The next three are lobbyists with no prior violations who failed to file the L2 reports prior to this hearing. We have case number 86668, Courtney Blatz, who is missing 9 of the 2020 L2 reports. We have case number 86680 for the Landlord Solutions Government Affairs, who was missing 3 reports for the year of 2020. And case number 86681, Madeline Kovacs, who was missing 12 reports for the calendar year of 2020. None of these, I'm sorry?
I was going to say none of them have said that they would show up today to talk.
Correct.
Okay.
None of them have contacted about participating.
Perfect. So I will find, in the case of Courtney Blatz, that she has violated RCW 4217A615 and assess a penalty of $900 with 450 suspended, conditioned on the respondent being in compliance with RCW 4217A and WAC 390. The respondent having no further violations of 4217A or WAC 390 for 4 years from the date the order is issued, and for payment by the respondent of the non-suspended amount within 30 days from the date of this order.
Perfect. Noted.
And I will find that Landlord Solutions Government Affairs is in violation of RCW 4217A615 and assess a penalty of $450, of which 50% would be suspended, conditioned on the respondent being in compliance with RCW 4217A and WAC 390. That the respondent has no further violations of RCW 4217A or WAC 390 for 4 years from the date of this order, and that the payment by the respondent of the non-suspended amount within 30 days of the order is issued.
Perfect. Noted.
And I find that Madeline Kovacs also is in violation of RCW 4217A 615, and I assess a penalty of $1,000 with 50% suspended, conditioned on the respondent being in compliance with RCW 4217A and WAC 390, and the respondent having no further violations of RCW 4217A or WAC 390 for 4 years from the date of this order, and payment by the respondent of the non-suspended portion within 30 days of the order. I think that's it.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair Jarrett, and especially for clarifying on how we wanted to move forward.
And I think that's kind of the way that my bias would be is, again, dependent on if there isn't any mitigating circumstance, if people don't show up and talk about what it is that has prevented this, to go to the 150 per report, up to $1,000, so that we can proceed.
Okay, thank you.
That seem reasonable to you, Nancy?
Yes, it does.
All right. And that brings us to the reporting modifications.
Yes, Chair Jarrett, we are way ahead of schedule. I think we have, so we have the gentleman Judge Williams is not planning on participating. However, procedurally wise, I think that we have to wait until the start time of 2:30. Would you like to, I can stop the recording. We can take a break until right before 2:30 and come back and record that last bit.
Let's do that.
Okay. And then it looks like Mr. Bissonette has left us. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording, and then you can use the same meeting link to get back into the same meeting. It'll just pick up in the same meeting, and I'll go ahead and start the recording when we come back. What time would you like us to come back here? A few minutes before 10 minutes?
Yeah, why don't we do 2:25?
Okay. So we'll be back at 2:25.
Yep.
See you then.
Thanks all.
Thank you.